Hello, welcome back. So here I am on Tuesday, as promised, with the next part of our challenge journal. The challenge being that we use one chosen book and one chosen fabric as the main bones of our book or our journal. So, what did I do while you was away? Absolutely nothing. It's as it was last time you were here. But what I did do is I made a start on backgrounds for my tags. So I pulled out some coffee dyed paper. I stamped on it in the red and blue because obviously the red and blue is what we're using throughout this journal, or I am, because it goes with my kit. I then trimmed it to a tag shape. I stuck it onto some random paper that was on my desk. These two you can see I've already cut out. This one I haven't done yet because I wanted you to see it in the hole. So then I just literally trimmed around it like so. And then having done that, I am going to use the tag shapes that I cut out previously. Let's move them because they are for something else. Do you remember we had 3 of these? So I just want to lay it on, and I'm going to get some of my fabric or lace going with it. So and this is the top that I got from the charity shop. And you remember we talked about ways that you could get 2 lots of fabric out of the one, because this has obviously got the lacy net on the top and it's got this colour coordinating cotton underneath. So I'm just cutting this into strips because what I want to do is, I find my other 2 tags would help, wouldn't it? You remember we paper clipped everything in so we knew where they were going. And I'm just going to flip through. There's another one. And find the 3 tags, which will be easier said than done apparently. There it is. There's the 3rd one. Okay. Do you remember we said we would basically be working, or I would, in 3s, because that means there's 1 for each of my 3 signatures. So I'm just going to run some glue up straight edge of the non-stamped side, and then I'm going to pull off my excess strings, and I'm just going to overlap to the bottom a little bit and then just scrunch it along so it's not flat and it's got, you know, a little bit of interest. You've seen me do this many times. And then I want to pull some of the lace off as well. So I think the easiest ways to do that at this juncture is just to cut off this sleeve. So I hope I'm in shot. I keep pulling it close so that I can see what I'm doing, and then I think, oh, probably not in shot. So just going to trim off the sleeve. Once you've got it started, you can generally pull. Sometimes you can't, it just depends on the fabric that the lace is made of. Okay, let's get rid of that big bit and let's see what we've got now. So I want to cut a couple of these flowers, so let's get it cut open and flat like normal fabric first of all. I trust everybody's happy, safe and well. We've all found some crafting time. I know from the comments and photographs that I've seen, there's a few of you joining in this challenge, which is fabulous. So let's have a little look. I'm going to come around this side because I think what I want is that string. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I want that string there of flowers and petals. So I'm going to cut it quite roughly at this stage and then trim it down in a minute. I find it's the only way really with these, to cut roughly what you want, and then you can perfect it once you've got a chunk out, if that makes sense. Because I've found that if you try and fussy cut it, a small piece from the big, it just becomes really difficult. So I'm just running my scissors through the netty bit, which is obviously sort of the background that holds all these petals, as it were, together to make fabric. So just going through that net. Right, and then once you've got your piece out, you can work out what you want. See, I don't want the big flower at the moment. I want this piece here, where it's like a double flower. So I'm just going to trim round, and then I'll come through there, and through there. It's a little bit fiddly, but it is worth it. It really is. Sometimes you're better using little tiny scissors for this. If you haven't got any really sharp little sewing scissors, then to be honest, nail scissors are really good, because they do have a very deliberate tip on them, which makes it good for getting around your corners and the like. Okay, I've got a bit there that I missed. Okay, so you can see I've got this line now, yeah? Okay, got this little line of flowers. So if we overlay our tag like so, now obviously you can sew this. As always, I'm not going to sew on camera because it means lifting up the machine and rejigging my camera position and everything. But you can definitely sew around these. Just going to line that up a little bit from the bottom so you can see a little bit of that stamping, a little bit in from the side like so. And of course if you stitch up there, that'll hold that super flat. But then I think what I want to do is I want to just add that on top. So I've got this plain red in between, and then I've got that florally bit on top. So, and I'm going to put it at the angle because obviously I don't want it to interfere with the picture. So bring it over. We don't want it on his head, you see. So you just need to, now I don't mind that because it looks a little bit like a hat and it's quite amusing, which, you know, the whole story is really, isn't it? And now you see that little tiny tag is a really robust, handsome little thing. Okay, so you can tidy up your strings if you want to, or leave them dangly, whatever is your taste. And obviously when I sew it, and I will sew it, I'll sew round this bit. I won't necessarily sew around that. I will sew in like a burgundy thread. So let's do the other two. Now obviously I don't want to do them all exactly the same. So I think the two where the pictures are similar, I'm going to do the same. And then this one where the picture's different, I'm going to do different. So let's run this down here again, because this is the one that's all but the same. Press that home, find ourselves a flower. You don't have to use the same flower, you know, the same rung as it were. We could use maybe this one this time. Let's see how that sits on there. Now if we put it there, it's obviously going to run across his head, isn't it? Which we don't want. But we could have it the other way round, where it sort of sits down the middle there between them. So I'm going to glue up the centre and then across that corner. Okay, I believe it was that one, wasn't it? Yeah. And obviously the way you do this will be very dependent on, oh, I'm sorry, I've got the loose threads all stuck to my gluey fingers. The way you do this will be very dependent on the subject matter of your book. I mean, if you're doing a botanical book, then you've obviously got much more sort of natural colours. Some reason I can't cut this now. And you won't want something comical, you know, like this, because it's not necessarily a comical subject matter. You'll want it much more. Yeah, just realised the reason that's not sticking is because I didn't glue it. Why did one of you not tell me? Oh goodness me, you should have been shouting at me. I hadn't glued that yet, and that was never going to stick. There you go. Now that's going to stick, isn't it? There we go. So that's them two. And then this one I want to do different, don't I? Because it's the different style. So I think what I might do this time is I might lift this halfway up rather than, well, you know, almost halfway up like that. And I think we'll have the big flower coming right across that corner. So let's trim off so that we've only got the big flower in here, not the leafy bits. Okay, and then that big flower can come right across that corner. And then I think the small piece of fabric can be used as our tab at the top. So it's all the same materials, but it's just a different way of doing it. So let's glue up the tag, and then we can stick that down because we want nothing behind this one. Doing it all on top. There we go. Just see the top of the postage stamp there. And then I'm going to glue all the way around this corner like that. And we're going to offer our flower like so. Again, once I sew down, it's obviously going to be a little bit more robust. And then we're going to put a little tiny bit of glue there, and I'm going to run my tab there, because obviously I'm going in the centre of the big one now, not necessarily the little one, and pop that over like so. And again, when I stitch round, that will be securely held in place there. So now our 3 tags have grown to something much more interesting than they were. Okay. The other thing that I want to do is, do you remember we pulled out our favourite pictures, but we didn't do anything with them as yet? Right, well what I want to do is I want to cut it down to make, I'm going to try and line this up so I get a relatively straight line going on. I want to cut this down to make pockets. So the height of our book is obviously much shorter, isn't it? So we need, I don't know, about that much. I mean, again, as always, if you want to, you can measure. You know, I'm not famous for it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, because I've cut quite shallow there, I'm going to turn this over here so that we've got a stronger side because it's double thickness. Okay, and that is going to be a right hand pocket. Oh, it's opened there, let's put it in there. So it's still a little bit too long, so trim it off to about there, I believe. Perfect. So I'm gonna glue this fold over down like so. Okay, and having glued that down, we're going to run glue across the bottom, down that edge and across the top, and then we're going to offer our pocket to our page. I'm just holding it up to the light so I can make sure it's sitting where I want it to sit, and then out of half of that favourite page we've got pocket. So let's put that one back. So we've got a nice pocket on the side there now. Alright, and I'm going to do exactly the same with this one, but obviously this time I want to fold this side. So I'm going to fold, line it up at the top. It's a good way of making sure you've folded relatively straight, like so, although I feel that's not quite straight. There we go. Perfect. Let's glue that down. Okay. Now this is obviously going to be a left pocket because we've got our seam on the right side. Let's trim off some of our length. I think that's about right. Now, it's a left pocket, isn't it? So we need it to go on this side. So let's make sure, is that a good size? No, we still need to take a little bit off, very, very smidge, little bit off there. Okay, and then we're going to run our glue again across the top. You know how to make a side pocket, you don't need me to tell you how to do that. Just line it up like so. And there's our next pocket. Okay, and then the last one for this one, let's need to find a plain page. There's not many of them in here, is there? Probably that one. Now we've got to decide which piece of this do we want. I think him. He looks to me almost like he's being told off. So I'm going to cut it a bit wide. I don't want to lose too much of that image because we could use that again. So fold this image over a little bit. Give us our strong edge. And you always want it to be a little bit stronger because obviously stuff's going in and out of there all the time. So it's like a high traffic area. So it needs to be nice and strong. Okay. Just double check our height. Yep, that looks good to me. And do you know what? I think I'm going to put it on this green page. I think it works well because I think the yellow and green jacket, it's actually yellow and black, but because it's so close together it looks almost green, and obviously that's something you want to consider when you're putting your pages together. Okay, and then we just glue that up. And then that one can go on there. Just line that up a bit. I think if anything I'll cut that one a bit short, never mind. Okay, so now each one of our signatures has got one of those big side pockets in, okay? And we've also got 3 tags. So let's put these tags back in position because we paper clipped everything, didn't we? So where is our empty paper clip? There it is. So we're going to put this one there. Okay, this one obviously goes there, and then where's this one goes there. Okay, so we've put those 3 in. Now the other thing that I wanted to do today was I wanted to use these 3 little pictures. Okay, this is where she's almost, look, stepping on all the animals. That's her very thoughtful there, and that's the cottage. And I thought I'd make like a bit of a ruffle with these. So we're going to want some of the lace. We're also going to want some of the plain fabric. So let's have a bit of a tear there. Oh, like that. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to layer it up. So, for example, that sits quite well in there, doesn't it? Look. So, do a there. And that'll be for that one. I know it looks miles too big, but once we've scrunched it all up, it won't be. And then that one in there. And then this last one is going to go across there. So we're just going to trim off this bit of bottom because it's a bit too long, about there. Okay. Now these can either be page ruffle, you know, page embellishments that are ruffles, or you could take a piece of just plain paper or card that you have on your desk, a little piece of scrap, can fold it over to make two. Okay, make sure that this is smaller than your picture, so that'll work for that one. And this one, if I trim it, will work for that one. And then this one will work for this one. And then you can make them all to paper clips. And the way that I do that is very simply to put the paper clip with the small piece on the inside. So put it on like that. So the big piece is on the outside and the small piece is on the inside. Glue that up and close it over like that. Oh, I'm sorry about hubby coughing. And then this is now an altered paper clip. And what I'm going to do is this one goes with this one. So we're going to glue this piece like so. Whoops, we don't want that stuck to it. Oh, Claire, see all these strings, although I don't mind that messy bit, to be honest. That's going to be good. I'm going to take a piece of lace and I am cutting it square this time. And I want to make sure that that's going to stick out of there sort of like that. Okay, cut those strings and then glue it again. Okay, now obviously you can use Fabri-Tac or whatever for this, it's entirely up to you. And then I'm going to lay it over and scrunch it up like this. I can't see what's happening on the front, I don't really mind that. And then when I think I'm happy, I'm going to pick it up and turn it over. And then I don't know if you can see if the camera's going to pick it up, but you've got your lace and then your crinkled fabric. So you've got two layers, and again you can stitch around that. And then I'm going to glue up my paper again, making sure that the glue is on the side that doesn't have the paper clip on it, and then lay it down like that and pop it in the middle. Okay, and again I will, as I say, I will run my sewing machine all the way around the edge, and you've got this really lovely messy paper clip there. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to put the small piece in the middle. I'm going to glue up the other side, stick that down, and then that's my paper clip organised. I'm going to put some of this fabric lace down this side like so. Make sure you put it round the right way, because obviously this is the back, as it were. Glue that. Okay, lay down your fabric and whoops, mine's glued to my finger, of course, it always is, and scrunch. And then when you're happy that you've scrunched as far as you want to, and that the fabric is sitting where you want it to be, pat it into itself, into that glue. Glue up your paper clip and make sure your image is up the right way before you stick your paper clip on. There you go. And you see again, we've got our lace and then our layers, and it's all messy and stringy and beautiful. That's that one, and I'm doing exactly the same on this one. And then we're job done for this session of our challenge journal. Today's Tuesday. I will come back tomorrow with the next part, and tomorrow may well be the last part of this little project. I'm not sure, it depends on how much I get done this afternoon. I'm gonna cut another piece of lace, that's not big enough for what I want. It may be the last one, there may be another one next week. We'll have to see how we go time wise, because I've been busy this morning and it's already quite late in the day, so we'll have to see how I get on. But ho hum and all that, eh? So put some glue down there. And normally I wouldn't do these paperclip embellishments quite so big, but I think with the whole Alice theme and things, you know, being all the wrong sizes and everything, it sort of fits together. I just think it sort of fits. I'm just making sure that I'm not screwing that lace up too much this time, because I just want to see quite a lot of that lace. Let's have a little look. Yeah, see, that's lovely. Love that. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there until I get back with a sewing machine. Glue this up. And pop, oh, make sure your picture's up the right way. Pop that in the middle on the back. And there's our third beautiful paperclip ruffle. So, let's go back through our book and put these in. So as always, I hope you found some inspiration there and you're motoring on. See, look at that, beautiful. You're motoring, and look how it's hanging out. So you've got, that's lovely. And that you're motoring on with your own projects. And put this one on here. Like so. And then the very last one, why have we got a paper clip? Oh, because we're holding that. We'll put it towards the back here. And you can see it just sits on there, look, as it would, and obviously you can slip something behind it later on. But in the meantime, look at that lovely fluffy corner that you've got going on now because of them. So obviously tomorrow when I come back, we'll be looking at getting some kind of excess around the bottom. All right, so I'll leave that open for you so you can at least sort of look at that one and see how the pages come together. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, stay safe. I'll be back with you soon. Bye bye for now.